Hi, and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, my name is Sarah, and I am a recent graduate from the University of Michigan. I post lifestyle content and all sorts of stuff. If you're returning, you know that I absolutely adore you, and I'm so happy you're here. Today's video is going to be a little routine that I do and repeat throughout the year. I was inspired by a YouTuber named Renee Amburg, and I'm gonna link her video down below. On my vision board, I set a goal to read 50 books this year, and I figured I had to be a little bit proactive if I wanted to achieve that goal. So in her video, she selected a fiction and a non-fiction text to read each month, and she split it up into 3 months each video. So today we're gonna walk you through my January through March picks for books that I'm planning to read. If I set these goals for January through March, each month, 2 books, that will get me halfway through my goal. And then I'm also in a book club with my grandma and my aunts. And so I end up reading about a book a month for that. And then it allows me a little flexibility. This way I'm holding myself accountable, but it's not too strict or structured. I'm getting straight into it with January. So January for the fiction book, as it's halfway through January, I have already finished my fiction book for the month, and it was The Unraveling of Cassie Holmes by Elisa R. Sloan. So I'm just gonna read you the summary really quick. This one was recommended to me by an Instagram account of a girl named Hannah. I'm gonna put her thing on the screen, but I really enjoyed it anyhow. In the vein of Daisy Jones and the Six and Everything I've Never Told You, this debut novel probes the dark side of fame after a former pop star ends her own life. Cassie Holmes isn't just a celebrity. She is Sassy Goss, the 4th member of the hottest pop group America has ever seen. Hotter than Britney dancing with a snake, hotter than Christina getting dirty, Lost was the pop act that everyone idolized. Fans couldn't get enough of them, their music, and the drama that followed them like moths to a flame. Until the group's sudden implosion in 2002. And at the center of it all was Sassy Cassie, the Texan with a signature smirk that had everyone falling for her. But now she's dead. Suicide. The world is reeling from this unexpected news, but no one is more shocked than the 3 remaining Glossies. 15 years ago, Rosie, Mary, and Yumi had been the closest to Cassidy, and this loss is hitting them hard. Before the group split, they each had a special bond with Cassidy. Truths they told, secrets they shared. But after years apart, each of them is wondering, what could they have done? Told in multiple perspectives, including Cassidy herself, and different timelines, this is the behind-the-scenes look into the rise and fall of a pop icon and a penetrating examination of the dark side of a celebrity and the industry that profits from it. I'm going to make sure to insert a trigger warning before I read that summary. However, I typically don't love things with suicide in them, as sometimes I can find that personally triggering just with past experiences. However, I thought this book dealt really nicely with it. It was a dark underline, and I can say that because I've already read it, but it was a dark underlying thing, and you knew it was going to happen, but it wasn't super focused on that in particular. However, again, if this is a subject that triggers you, obviously you want to be careful about picking that one up, but I really enjoyed it, and I shouldn't tell you that because these are new books, but I was so excited to read it. And yeah, let's move into our nonfiction. So the nonfiction that I selected for January was A Very Punchable Face by Colin Jost. My family recently has been getting into Saturday Night Live. We are huge Colin Jost fans, especially because, he's engaged to the one and only ScarJo. They're just absolutely adorable, and I'm super excited to read this one. I've heard great things, and yeah, I'm just gonna read you the summary really quick. If there is one trait that makes someone well-suited to comedy, it's being able to take a punch. Metaphorically and occasionally physically. From growing up in a family of firefighters on Staten Island, to commuting 3 hours a day to high school and seeing the sights like watching a Russian woman throw a stroller off the back of a ferry, to attending Harvard while Facebook was created, Joe shares how he has navigated the world like a slightly smarter Forrest Gump. I did not know he went to Harvard. You'll also discover things about Jost that will surprise and confuse you, like how Jimmy Buffett saved his life, how Czech teenagers attacked him with potato salad, how an insect laid eggs inside his legs, how he competed in a 25-man match at WrestleMania and almost won. He'll go behind the scenes at SNL and Weekend Update, where he's written some of the most memorable sketches and jokes of the past 15 years. And you'll experience the life of a touring stand-up comedian, from performing in rural college cafeterias at noon to opening for Dave Chappelle at Radio City Music Hall. For every accomplishment, hosting the Emmys, there's a setback, hosting the Emmys. And for every absurd moment, watching paramedics give CPR to a raccoon, there's an honest and emotional one, recounting his mother's experience on the scene of the Twin Towers collapse on 9/11, told with a healthy dose of self-deprecation, my favorite form of comedy. A very punchable face reveals the brilliant mind behind some of the dumbest sketches on television, and lays bare the heart and humor of a hardworking guy with a face you can't help but want to punch. I am so excited for this book. I feel like he just has the coolest life, honestly. I'm just really excited. I love memoirs. You're going to see that as kind of a trend in my nonfiction. I obviously just graduated school, so I do love a good text that really teaches you something about life. But recently, I've obviously had a overload of scholarly texts, so I'm kind of avoiding those at the moment. But I love memoirs, and I'm super excited to get to dive into this one. I actually just downloaded it on my Kindle, so it is ready and waiting for me. For February, a fiction text that I have been waiting desperately to read until I was done with school, because I've heard it takes over your life, is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. A gripping novel about the whirlwind rise of an iconic 1970s rock group and their beautiful lead singer, revealing the mystery behind their infamous breakup. Everyone knows Daisy Jones and the Six, but no one knows the real reason why they split at the absolute height of their popularity, until now. Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs on the Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars, and dreaming of singing at the Whiskey Go-Go. The sex and drugs are thrilling, but it's the rock and roll she loves most. By the time she's 20, her voice is getting noticed, and she has the kind of heedless beauty that makes people do crazy things. Another band getting noticed is the Six, led by the brooding Billy Dunn. On the eve of their first tour, his girlfriend Camilla finds out she's pregnant, and with the pressure of impending fatherhood and fame, Billy gets a little wild on the road. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes the key to supercharged success is putting the two of them together. What happens next will become the stuff of legends. I'm so excited to read it. I have heard such good things, and I've just seen everybody recommending this book, and I was like, it's gonna take over my life. I can't do it while I'm in school, and so I'm just super excited to get to pick that one up next. For our nonfiction in February, we have another celebrity memoir, however, of a comedian. However, this one is of Claudia Oshry of The Morning Toast. Her book comes out in January, so if you're seeing this, you can actually pre-order her book. Shameless plug. It's not even my book, but like, props to her. And I'm just super interested about her rise to fame. Maybe it's only ideal to me because it's something I would love to do, but you know, she's her own boss. She has this company. She's toured. She's just living the life, really, like realistically living the life. So I figured I would put this as a February book since it's not available to order through all of January, so I would have had to wait for it. This book is entitled Girl with No Job: The Crazy Beautiful Life of an Instagram Thirst Monster by Claudia Oshry. A laugh out loud, funny look at pop culture and social media stardom from one of the most popular, fun-employed millennials today, perfect for the fans of Next Level Basic and the Betches. As the creator of the breakout Instagram account @GirlWithNoJob, Claudia Oshry has turned not wanting an ordinary career into a thriving media company and pop culture-focused podcast and morning show. The origins of her pop culture obsession can be traced back to household debates over boy bands and her flair for the dramatic to her young emulation of Blair Waldorf. When she started @GirlWithNoJob, Claudia entered that world herself as a social media influencer, sharing her unbelievable and unbelievably awkward encounters with some of her favorite A-listers as she navigates her incredible access. Now in this juicy behind-the-scenes look at a life of an Instagram sensation, Claudia leaves nothing out as she contemplates staying true to herself while hustling in today's digital age. Sometimes the best lessons are learned the hard way, and her journey hasn't been without its punch-in-the-face dose of humility. But like anyone with a relentless desire to be popular, she dusts herself off and finds a new, better way forward. With humor and unique insights, Claudia examines the nature of a social media celebrity, the many sides of fandom, and cancel culture. If there's one thing she knows for sure, she was born thirsty and she's here for another round. I just think like you can't, maybe this is because I think highly of her, but I feel like you can't knock like her hustle. She really has built this career and this company for herself, and I'm very intrigued to see kind of how it all comes out. Obviously, no one's talking, everybody's talking about this book, but obviously no one's ready yet, so I'm really excited to kind of be on the early side of it and see how it holds up to other memoirs. Coming in March, the fiction pick is a book by Erin Watt, and this was a recommendation, I believe, by Kenzie Elizabeth on her book highlight, and it is The Paper Princess. It's the beginning of a series. I do like to start a series every now and then because it really hustles me through books sometimes because I'm so excited about getting to read it. So, by Erin Watt. From strip clubs and truck stops to Southern Coast mansions and prep schools, one girl tries to stay true to herself. These royals will ruin you. Ella Harper is a survivor, a pragmatic optimist. She spent her whole life moving from town to town with her flighty mother, struggling to make ends meet, and believing that someday she'll climb out of the gutter. After her mother's death, Ella is truly alone. Until Callum Royal appears, plucking Ella out of poverty and tossing her into his posh mansion among his 5 sons, who all hate her. Each royal boy is more magnetic than the last, but none as captivating as Reed Royal, the boy who is determined to send her back to the slum she came from. Reed doesn't want her. He says she doesn't belong with the royals. He might be right. Wealth, excess, deception. It's like nothing Ella has ever experienced, and if she's going to survive her time in the royal palace, she'll need to learn to issue her own royal decrees. I mean, we love a strong female narrator. I love the potential this book has, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Finally, our non-fiction pick for March is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I have heard amazing things about this book, and I've been putting off really diving into it because I think it's going to have a lot of hard truths that I need to hear and that I need to grow from. So I figured if I put it on this list in this first video, I'll be prepared, I'll be ready, and I'm really looking forward to diving into it and challenging myself. So I'm gonna give you this quick, I know they're all memoirs. I swear at some point we'll get like a scholarly text or something. Maybe not scholarly, but like something a little bit harder. Again, I just needed kind of a break for school. In her most revealing and powerful memoir yet, the beloved activist, speaker, and best-selling author of Love Warrior and Carry On Warrior explores the joy and peace we discover when we stop striving to meet the expectations of the world and start trusting the voice deep within us. This is how you find yourself. There is a voice of longing inside each woman. We strive so mightily to be good partners, daughters, mothers, employees, and friends. We hope all this striving will make us feel alive. Instead, it leaves us feeling weary, stuck, overwhelmed, and underwhelmed. We look at our lives and wonder, wasn't it all supposed to be more beautiful than this? We quickly silence that question, telling ourselves to be grateful, hiding our discontent, even from ourselves. For many years, Glennon Doyle denied her own discontent. Then, while speaking at a conference, she looked at a woman across the room and fell instantly in love. 3 words flooded her mind. There she is. At first, Glennon assumed these words came to her from on high. But she soon realized they had come to her from within. This was her own voice, the one she had buried beneath decades of numbing addictions, cultural conditioning, and institutional allegiances. This was the voice of the girl she had been before the world told her who to be. Glennon decided to quit abandoning herself and to instead abandon the world's expectations of her. She quit being so good so that she could be free. She quit pleasing and started living. Soulful and uproarious, forceful and tender, Untamed is both an intimate memoir and a galvanizing wake-up call. It is the story of how one woman learned that a responsible mother is not one who slowly dies for her children, but one who shows them how to fully live. It is the story of navigating divorce, forming a new blended family, and discovering that the brokenness or wholeness of a family depends not on its structure, but on each member's ability to bring her full self to the table. And it is the story of how each of us can begin to trust ourselves enough to set boundaries, make peace with our bodies, honor our anger and heartbreak, and unleash our truest and wildest instinctions so we become women we can finally look at ourselves and say, there she is. Untamed shows us how to be brave. As Glennon insists, the braver we are, the luckier we get. So, I mean, that summary inside of itself is so moving. Yeah, it's a little scary to me because I think it's so big and so heavy, and it's going to hit on a lot of things that I've experienced in the past couple of years and just like this healing that I really want to do, but it also is a priority that I've made for myself this year, and kind of comes full circle on those goals that I'm not trying to hide from anything this year. This year is the year of challenge and confronting things, and so yeah, I'm not hiding from it, and I'm gonna read it just in March. So like I mentioned, I have that book club as well, and I don't know what we're going to be reading the whole year, but we just finished The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates. Highly recommend. I think it is a unique look at how to empower other women and how women fit in society and how women fit in relationships, and it was just super cool. She dealt with some really like macro issues, but also was able to apply it on really micro levels, like what you can do in your everyday life and changes you can make in just the way you talk to yourself. Super cool. Definitely would recommend it. She's obviously a fantastic and inspiring woman, and it was quite the book. I was very, very impressed and surprised by the topics and things like that, but super great. Just finished that. And then the book we are picking up next is Group, and it is a book that I actually added to the list and then we like vote on. And again, was a book I was a little bit nervous about reading and knew I would need the accountability of a group to convince me it was a great idea. But so I'm looking forward to picking that up as well. Let me pull up that summary really quick for you. Okay, so the book full title is called Group, How One Therapist in a Circle of Strangers Saved My Life by Christy Tate. This is a trigger warning about if you are sensitive to mental health issues. I will put a timestamp in the bottom so that you can skip. Something I'm looking forward to reading, and I just wanted to share it with you. The refreshing original debut memoir of a guarded, overachieving, self-lacerating young lawyer who reluctantly agrees to get psychologically and emotionally naked in a room of 6 complete strangers. Her psychotherapy group, and in turn finds human connection and herself. So like that's terrifying in and of itself, right? Complete strangers. Like I go to therapy's terrifying as it is, and it's just me and my therapist and like all of my thoughts, which in and of itself is so terrifying. I can't imagine being in group. I don't know what that's like, and I commend all of you for going. If you do, I hope it works for you and it's doing its best healing. Anyhow, Christy Tate had just been named the top student in her law class and finally had her eating disorder under control. Why then was she driving through Chicago, fantasizing about her own death? Why was she envisioning putting an end to the isolation and sadness that still plagued her in spite of all her achievements? Enter Dr. Rosen, a therapist who calmly assures her that if she joins one of his psychotherapy groups, he can transform her life. All she has to do is show up and be honest. About everything. Her eating habits, childhood, sexual history, etc. Christy is skeptical, insisting that she is effective, beyond cure. But Dr. Rosen issues a 9-word prescription that will change everything. You don't need a cure, need a witness. So begins her entry into the strange, terrifying, and ultimately life-changing world of group therapy. Christy is initially put off by Dr. Rosen's outlandish directives, but as her defenses break down and she comes to trust Dr. Rosen and to depend on the sessions and the prescribed nightly phone calls with various group members, she begins to understand what it means to connect. Group is a deliciously addictive read, and with Christy as our guide, skeptical of our own capacity for connection and intimacy, but hopefully in spite of herself, we are given a front row seat to the daring, exhilarating, painful, and hilarious journey that is group therapy, an underexplored process that breaks you down, then reassembles you so that all the pieces finally fit. So that's Group, and that's what we're picking up this month-ish for book club. We read it in about 100-page sections, and it's super cool. I really enjoy it, and it's a great time to talk about it. So I think that brings us to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up down below. Comment down below your book recommendations. Subscribe if you haven't already. It makes my day literally every time that I get a new subscriber. Seriously. You also can find me other places on the internet. They're always in the description box, but I will put the major ones on the side of the screen. Let me know if these are videos you're enjoying, if you want to hear what I think of the books at the beginning of the next video. Also, if I like updated my Goodreads to actually be what I'm reading and what I'm thinking about reading, if that would be something you would enjoy, if you'd rather have an Instagram highlight, if you'd like just the videos. Again, let me know all of that in the comments below. I love feedback and I love producing content. I'm glad you're here and you're consuming it, because that really means the world to me. I have exciting things planned and I'm so excited to take you along the way. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!